I'm going to be recommending these new, old, and spicy decks for the upcoming ranked in Pokemon Pocket. What up peeps, Nuggie here, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be showing you decks that you should most likely play for the upcoming season of ranked. Now, before I begin with the deck list, I wanted to say that I think there may or may not be some rank changes coming up. We're going to have to wait and see when we get there, but I believe Ultra Ball and above, you no longer lose points, but you also don't get any win streaks either. We're going to find out in just a few short days, so we'll see if that's going to be true or not. But if it is true, that's going to be, in my opinion, a really good thing for ranked, which means that it's just going to make like the top 10k badges and above 5k and 1k to be more meaningful, and it's not going to be so skewed in terms of win streak with points. So we're going to wait and see what that happens. But right now with these decks, I do believe that these are the most consistent, most fun, and you can see there's so much variety, which is really cool. And there's a lot more just to tell you, right? There's a lot that we've been fiddling around on the side as well, but these are most likely what you're going to see. And if you are going to narrow it down to, like, I guess on my screen, 9 decks, then maybe try these and see how it goes for you, because these are probably ones that are the most consistent, they're quick, or they just get you the results that you need, okay? Whether they're going to be scammy or not. So without further ado, let's have a look at these new, old, and spicy decks. Alrighty peeps, we're going to start off with the old decks just because you've seen these all before, and we just want to kind of give you a little bit of an update of what's been changed, because it will be relevant to some of the new decks you'll see later on, as well as the spicy decks that we're going to show. We're also going to be showing the deck list below us, as well as the QR code there on my left if you want to just quickly scan that. It's a really cool feature that allows you just to put the deck straight onto your game, so long as you have the deck space for it. But let's start with the good old sleep scam. Now, from a lot of what we see here, all of these cards are still old, like pre B4 set of the Ruler of the Skies, so there's not much to talk about in terms of this deck. It's just really consistent, you get there really quick, and specifically guys, as I said, this is just purely for rank purposes. All right, if you're going to want to climb, and if the rank requirements for like Ultra Ball and above not getting win streaks anymore to change, then you're going to want to look for some decks that are just going to keep you fast paced, keep it quick, and relatively consistent. All right, so we do have to start with this. There's not much, like I said, different with this deck here. You've got the balloon. Now, I have seen some interchangeable cards with the balloon, with either Field Blower or like even Cape or whatnot, but this is probably just to help you not brick as badly. Now, the good news is this deck is gone, so we can go over to the next one. I'll just make sure that the code is going to be there as well. And we are going to move over to the Miraidon. Now, this one here there's a little bit of a change because of a few things. There used to be a Zeraora with this deck list here, but now we're going to switch it over to the Oricorio. This is mainly due to the new EX Hoopa that is around, that allows it to do 30 damage not only to the active but also to the bench as well for 1 energy cost. So these days people are using 1 less Miraidon instead of 2, and they're using 2 Oris instead of the Zeraora. And to also combat that as well, they've added slot in for another Magnezone, where in the past it was just the 1. So that is the significant changes of the old decks for the Miraidon there, but it is still very strong. And of course there's always variants, but I'm trying to give you the one that's probably what you'll see the most of. And lastly, for the old decks, which I thought was one of the coolest ones, is going to be this Lucario. So just give me a moment. The deck code and the deck list is there. So this right here, now there's one really cool new addition to the card that isn't new, but it's old, but it's added into this deck list, and it is going to be this Bonsly. The Bonsly here, now Hoopa, as I said before, does attack to the active and bench. Hoopa's Hoopa EX, sorry, or 1 energy cost to do 30 damage to the active and 20 to the bench is really potent. However, this Bonsly here, during your opponent's next turn, reduces that attack by 30, which means that Hoopa EX, anyone that starts with it, can't do any damage, which protects you at least for 1 turn, sometimes even 2 if they're trying to ping this Bonsly off with the Darkrai. So I thought this was a really, really good addition, and rather than the, I believe, Sork and Hitmonlee combo that you normally get with this deck, you are substituting it with the Hitmon top. Pair it off with the Poncho, oops, sorry, not the Mega Lucario here. You've got the Coaching Lucario, by the way, with the 2 Megas, and you've got the Poncho here to protect you from any bench shenanigans, and this deck has been performing, at least in the tournament scene, like extremely well. So that's it for the old decks. Let's head on over to the new to showcase what's in store for this season. Okay, we are jumping into the new decks of the season here. Now, granted, there are a ton of new decks. There's just so many to cover, but I thought I want to showcase some of the ones that I think will be very, very valuable in ranked to get you where you need to go in your climb. And we're going to start off with the Hoopa deck. Now, there are a few variations of it, and this one is a particular popular one in the tournament right now. There is a Greninja version of that, which I really, really like, but I have to showcase this one for you guys to see. And this is the one that is Hoopa, Darkrai, and Mega Absol. This is kind of similar to the Dark Tina days in a way, but just to give you a click here on the Hoopa skill, hopefully you can read it with all the full art here, but this is what makes it so strong. The Shadow Bullet here for 1 energy cost, 30 damage, but it also does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench. This makes it one of the strongest EX Pokemon that we've seen to date in terms of aggression. And when you pair that with something like the Needle here, that does an extra 10 damage at the end of the turn, so you can even put this turn 1 without having to put an energy, then that puts you into Cyrus range, which you see here that we have 2 of. Top it up with heals and just disruption, as well as giving it a little bit more tankiness with the starting planes, makes this deck extremely potent. You can then switch out into the Absol, get rid of the support cards while you're pinging away with the Darkrai, and it's just really aggressive. It's won quite a few tournaments, so I'll be interested to see how this deck will go in the ranking scene, but I definitely think that it's going to be strong. However, there are counters to this, of course, that I will show you in the new deck section, but I also want to just give a shout out to that Bonsly as well, because as the Bonsly does do negative 30 damage, which is what Hoopa can do at the start. So there are a few, but if you don't run into that, then it's going to be no problems. And we'll show you a deck that Hoopa does in a way have a good advantage of, but I have to show it because it is a dragon deck. I love dragon decks, and it's this one right here that you can see in the number 5 slot, but I just quickly have to get you the right deck code as well as the right deck list that you guys are going to see as well. So it is going to be the new Mega Rayquaza deck, which is also, again, there are variations of it as well. There's this Gouging Fire one, there's also a Drampa one, and there's also a really unique one that the Jimbo Pocket made with 3 different types of the Paradoxal dogs, the legendary ones. That was really cool as well, but this one is the one that we see consistently making top cut and doing well in the tournament scene, so we have to showcase this now. For those of you guys that don't know, let's start off with the Dragonair here. This is what basically changes a lot of the things, because once during your turn you can retrieve an energy from the discard pile back into an active dragon type Pokemon in their slot, and it pairs extremely well with this Rainbow Cave, which once during your turn you can basically discard an energy. But I gotta say, it's not just for dragon types, it's also for fire types that's been using it really, really well as well. But this allows you to charge, and you can do multi-energy here that you didn't get to use consistently before. It just makes it a lot more consistent. The Gouging Fire here, this is a unique Pokemon in a sense that it's 100 damage. It does discard 2, but if you have Dragon in the back, you can help top it up and continue the damage here. And you can finally pair the Professor Sada card, which is this one here, that allows you to bring energy back from the discard pile, so that helps you with your aggression there. Meanwhile, your Mega Ray will just be sitting here. Like, people thought that this card was initially not as good, but this is your finisher, and this just sits waiting patiently until it's time to come to go in and strike. It is a very, very strong card. I love the synergy of this deck, and I will definitely be playing this for ranked, as well as the Drampa variant, Jimbo Pockets variant, just any variant of Dragon decks. We're going to play it out and you're going to see, but I have to put this here as one of the new ones because it really just shook up the meta in such a great way, and look forward to seeing what this can do. Now, on to one of the last new decks that we have here as well. It's going to be the one and only Vespiquen deck. This in a way came as a surprise initially on my thoughts here, but it is a very, very strong card. We'll zoom it up on here. So this ability itself, well, it's not an ability, it's just its attack. It does a base damage of 70, but it allows you to do another 70 damage if you remove a basic Pokemon from your bench, which pushes it up to 140. Now, this Vespiquen is an answer to the Hoopa Absol and Darkrai decks, since it's weak to grass. This does a lot of damage, can be very bulky, and what you can pair this with, which is a really, really unique one here, you can pair this with the Shuckle. This can be your initial tank damage dealer. It's very unreliable damage. It flips 3 coins, but what makes it strong is the fact that you can tank for a while to get your Vespiquen up and running, and when you get it up and running, let's say Shuckle is low, you retreat it to the back, Vespiquen can attack, choose to use the Chaos Order to discard the Shuckle that's damaged, potentially losing you 2 points, and removing it from play while boosting its damage by 70, which is really, really strong. It's just such a cool, unique move to use. You've got Pheromosa for aggression. There are a few variants as well. Some people use Katana and whatnot, but this is the whole deck list as you can see. The QR code and deck list should be correct as you see here, but this will be a very, very good answer for the Hoopa decks out there in the ranked scene, even others as well. One of the major weaknesses is going to be against fire, but don't know how often you're going to see it. Saying that though, this is a really cool deck to try, and these are probably the top 3 decks that I would recommend for people who want to try rank with these new ones. And last but definitely not least, we are going to show you some spicy decks that definitely deserves mention, and it is really good for ranked as well. It's just they're spicy. So let's head over to the last category. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. We are heading on over to the spicy portion of this set. Again, and I'll say this all the time, there are so many decks that you can play and choose and use for your gaming pleasure, but I just wanted to bring these up because these are the ones that I'll probably play myself, and they're just unique and fun amongst everything else that you see so far. And in terms of deck building and everything, I do feel that Pocket is in a much better state, at least for this season, and looking forward to the mini sets that comes with it. Now, with this one here, now this is technically an old deck, but there are so few cards that make it so unique that it becomes spicy, and Entei is going to be the feature of this rather than the Charizard Y. Now, the reason for this is because of the 2 cards, the Rainbow Cave here, as well as Flame Patch. Now, if you do have these 2 cards in hand, you are able to go ahead and just make Entei from passive drawing into aggressive, which means that he can on turn 2 potentially one-shot any basic that they have in front with using Rainbow Cave, burning that energy, and then going straight into the 60 damage swipe here, which is really, really cool. And then you could even ramp it over to make it 4 energy with the Blazing Beatdown into 120 damage, so Entei becomes an absolute monster. And this is why you have cards like Cape here to make it even tankier, just in case it can withstand the punishment for a little bit. And while that's happening as well, you can slowly build on your Charizard Y. Now, it does only use 1 Charizard because of the deck space, but what makes Charizard Y scary is the fact that it has that 1 colorless energy, and you'll see more often than not, there's going to be a lot of decks with Charizard that slots in this new Wally card, which attaches a colorless energy onto any stage 2 Pokemon, which means that you can choose to burn your Flame Patches to kind of make Entei aggressive while you're building energy on the Charizard and topping it up with the Wally here as well. So this is definitely a really cool cook, and a spicy cook at that. And this is going to be good for Vespiquen or grass type decks, or just consistency overall. So please go give that one a try. Now, I wanted to kind of pair the spicy decks with just basically what they're weak to in a way and whatnot. And we're going to go over to the second deck, which deserves some recognition because I think it does okay-ish in tournaments, but it doesn't do that well. But I think it will do well in the ranking scene, and that's going to be the new Mega Sharpedo. This is a really cool card. It basically pairs it with Wally with the new 50 HP Kavanha, so it can instantly evolve and go ahead and start swinging for 70 damage. It's got no retreat cost. It's got a heck of a nice health pool here. Again, many variants to this type of Sharpedo deck. It's just play whatever you like that tickles your fancy. This one speaks out to me a bit more because I like what it does, but essentially you have all these basics here, right, with the Manectric and all that stuff. You can go for an early charge on the Mega Sharpedo. You can even charge the Chen Pao, which is essentially going to be your finisher with this deck. But if you're ever in trouble, let's say even with Mega Sharpedo, you're at risk of losing the game, you can swing on over to this returning regular Gyarados, which allows you to toss away Pokemon that is on the bench, water Pokemon might I add, that is on the bench, to allow you from preventing those loss of points. And this allows it to be aggressive and strong and finish off whatever you need, especially Megas if you're just sniping for Megas there. So this is a lot of fun to use. I implore you to use it, and I saved the best for last. So hopefully this deck makes sense. And let's move on over to the final one that you're going to see here, which is going to involve a common card and a returning Mega Manectric or whatever electric you'd like to pair with it. I know I've been trying to pair it with a little bit of Rotom since it's an immersive there, but we are going to this one, which I do really think that it's going to be one of the top contenders for quick games at ranked. Heliolisk here is essentially the upgraded version of the Zero Aura Mega Manectric, but what makes this so special is that it also does 10 damage to each of the bench Pokemon. Now, 10 damage doesn't seem like much to do that kind of splash to the bench, but when you pair it with the 40 base damage here, you pair it with these Clement backpacks, this actually applies to the bench as well. So what initially is 10, you could apply these twice with the Clement backpack. You could use it twice, so rather than 10, it could be 2 bouts of 30 damage or 1 bout of 50 damage if you get that. So that can eliminate a lot of things, can draw out a lot of Pokemon with the Cyrus play afterwards, and if you do eliminate this, you can bring in Mega Manectric to be your finisher as well. So this deck is extremely quick. It doesn't brick as often as you think because of the Clement, with the Clement here, that draws either the Heliolisk or the Clement bags along with it. So this, I find, just does really well, and I think it's going to be the same for ranked. And if you're running into Sleep Scam, I think you have a way to get out of it. I use this version, for those who don't know, this version of Helioptile that has a chance to paralyze as well when you flip a coin. That can save you a lot of the times as well, and it's a overall solid deck. But there you have it, folks. Those are currently the 9 decks that I highly recommend to use, especially for ranked. And if you like all of these, please feel free to copy the deck list and everything. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment on what decks you're planning to bring. It doesn't have to be the ones that I put here, but I thought you guys should know about these. So best of luck out there, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.